Dinosaurs are freaking awesome, right? Feel like we should be all in agreement about this by now. In fact, just to be on the safe side, everybody give a show of hands about what you think about dinosaurs. We all think that dinosaurs are cool, right? Seeing them all over there in the audience. Good, 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 good. Oh, and for the 5 people that I can tell that didn't, I just want to say my sincerest condolences about how your childhoods turned out. But moving on from that, now that we have that out of the way, let's ask the question, why do we like dinosaurs so much? And in fact, by extension, prehistoric history. Well, if you ask me, personally, as someone who is very enthusiastic about the subject matter, I think a lot of it comes down to our curiosity about the subject matter. There is an entire scientific field in paleontology that is dedicated about uncovering and learning about the Earth's prehistoric history. As a result of so many people working day in and day out through fossils, genetics, carbon dating, and much more than that, we were able to learn so much about these animals, from their diets, potentially how they behave, how they were able to adapt to their environments, and well, other things that I probably can't say on YouTube, but you get the idea. Of course, because the subject matter revolves around animals that are extinct, the tragic element, of course, is that we ourselves cannot physically interact with them to get a better, more clear understanding about just how they lived. If only there was a way that was both accessible and entertaining to allow us mere humans to get just a mere glimpse into the lives of dinosaurs. I wonder what that could be. So, paleo-documentaries are pretty cool. There have been plenty of dinosaur documentaries over the years, ranging in quality and accuracy to the subject matter, but overall they are a fantastic avenue for us to actually visually see how they possibly could have lived. It's both educational and entertaining, the best of both worlds if you ask me. But then, we should ask, what makes a good dinosaur documentary to begin with? Where do we start when it comes to judging the overall worth of some documentaries over others? That's a very good question, and it's one that I would like to explore in this video. Something that I think it's worth stressing before I begin with this video, while I do consider myself an enthusiast about the subject matter, I mean, dinosaurs are just awesome, and I love learning more about them, I would not consider myself an authority on the subject matter specifically. Even though I will be talking about accuracy, I myself am not actually a paleontologist or anybody that has actually gotten a degree or the history of actually learning about these creatures firsthand. I'm just someone who really likes to go on the internet and be like, hey, dinosaurs are pretty rad. As such, I really want to make that clear before I begin. And to be fair to some of these documentaries, while some of their information is outdated, that's just a matter of us simply learning more about dinosaurs. And it's not their fault that the facts change over time. If anything, that's a good thing on our part. That shows us that we're allowing ourselves to even learn this new information and changing what we understand about these animals accordingly based on that new information. I'm saying information and new and outdated a lot, and trust me, you're going to be hearing that constantly throughout this video, so get ready. If you're more interested in a review of some of these documentaries we're about to cover in regards to accuracy, I would recommend Red Raptor Writes. His series relating to dinosaur documentaries and paleomedia in general provides some of the most in-depth looks about our scientific knowledge of these creatures, and as such, it's a really valuable source of information that I would recommend easily to anyone who wants to dig a little bit deeper when it comes to this stuff. Of course, I would be an uncultured swine if I was to make a video about dinosaur documentaries and not bring up the one and only Walking with Dinosaurs. For years, this was seen as the gold standard when it came to paleo media, and for good reason too. From its fantastic visual effects, engaging storylines, grand music, and of course, being narrated by Sir Kenneth Brough, didn't really hurt its senses either. To this day, it's still a really entertaining show, and while it does have some outdated information and some notable inaccuracies, such as the massive Lyperodon the show came up with, you should still seek the show out if you haven't yet. In fact, if you're watching this video and not seeing Walking with Dinosaurs, like, what are you doing? Get your life together, man. Like, jeez. Be better. There's a depiction of the dinosaurs in the show where just like if it was any other animal in any nature documentary. From roaming around, eating, sleeping, hunting, fighting, and of course, this was just a show that could have worked like any other nature documentary. Except, of course, dinosaurs, and like we said a million times, that's pretty cool to watch. It allowed audiences in 1999 to have a vivid glimpse of these animals and just see how they would live. Regardless of whatever information might be inaccurate or outdated today, it is still an immersive viewing experience. And of course, and I really mean of course, I cannot make this video and not bring up Prehistoric Planet. I mean, oh my god. There is a real argument that Prehistoric Planet just might be the single greatest dinosaur documentary to ever exist. I mean, where to start? I mean, it's not like everyone else has said the same thing I'm about to say. The visual effects are just unbelievable. All the dinosaurs look real. There was not one single effect that I did not buy for a second. It's incredible stuff. The music by Hans Zimmer is absolutely gorgeous. And, of course, it's narrated by freaking David Attenborough. I mean, this is just planet Earth with freaking dinosaurs. How much better can you get, is what I'm asking. This is one of the most wonderful viewing experiences I have ever had. Anytime the credits roll, I was genuinely sad. Not because the show was bad, but because I just simply wanted more of it. And when I say that, that is probably the highest compliment I can have for anything out there. Prehistoric Planet is a once-in-a-lifetime viewing experience. There is just simply no other show out there on the same level of technical ambition and scientific accuracy out there when it comes to dinosaur documentaries, only rivaled by a few in each, and when it comes to both categories, it really doesn't come close. If you have not seen Prehistoric Planet, it is an easy recommendation. There are few shows that can provide such an immersive experience like Prehistoric Planet. It's just stupendous in every sense of the word. Just like Walking with Dinosaurs, Prehistoric Planet also understands the cool appeal of just watching dinosaurs be themselves. They don't need to be movie monsters, they just need to be animals. It may sound really simple, but it is so effective when you see the full show as is. Talking about the good dinosaur documentaries is really easy for me because the good shows are really good. But that does mean we need to look at the opposite end of the spectrum, so we need to ask ourselves, what happens when a dinosaur documentary isn't great? Or even good? Or even average? Well,
in this land of giant killers, there is always a bigger beast. Enter Spinosaurus.
You get this.
Fueled by bloodlust, the Allosaurus unleashes his rage on the wounded rival.
Yep. So these shows might have a couple of problems. They might have a lot of problems. Some really big problems, in fact. Look, what I'm trying to say is that these shows are the freaking pits, man. Like, oh my god, how do you screw it up that bad? Let's start off with Monsters Resurrected and its depiction of Spinosaurus, which is indeed the Spinosaurus of all time. When it comes to talking about the show's depiction of Spinosaurus, let me put it simply. It makes Jurassic Park 3's depiction of the creature look realistic. This kaiju-sized killer machine completely cuts off every other carnivore in its path, and the show even implies it was capable of taking on giant sauropods. Like, what? If I was to be generous, at least the episode does mention the Spinosaurus' history as we come to understand it, from its original discovery to how the fossils were destroyed during World War II, and it shows a little bit of it eating fish, but that's really it. The whole thing is just about how Spinosaurus is good at killing things. That's it. That's all the appeal is to it. And that's just so not it to what makes dinosaurs interesting at all. Now maybe I'm jumping the gun a little bit, like this approach could work if you're 12. Speaking of shows made for 12-year-olds, let's talk about Jurassic Fight Club. Yay! Once again, we have a dinosaur documentary that was made for people who haven't graduated middle school. Jurassic Fight Club is all about how dinosaurs were these bloodthirsty killing machines that just lived to slaughter every other living thing within their vicinity. It's so inaccurate just how dinosaurs were dinosauring, but not only that, it pushes some really weird speculative theories on how these animals might have lived. Now, don't get me twisted. Dinosaur documentaries do have to do a little bit of speculation when it comes to depicting the animals in a visual format. These are extinct creatures and we can't interact with them physically, so a little bit of an educated guess is fine within reason. But the way Jurassic Fight Club goes about it goes beyond simple reason and just goes straight into the absurd. Like Tyrannosaurus Rex having a second bite, or raptors being able to give out hand signals? With these little things? Like, whose idea was this? There's also other basic stuff like getting the name of a dinosaur wrong, the sizes being completely off, and do I really need to mention the hand signals again? Really? And while I'm not one to get all cinema sins up in my dinosaur documentary, there are some action that these dinosaurs do that ranges from realistic to just being completely not, like, at all. For example, in The Bloodiest Battle, an episode that featured several dinosaurs going at it, there was this Allosaurus that decided that instead of having a nice buffet of dead corpses that it could eat for weeks, it decided to target a sauropod that could easily crush it with one foot. Can you guess what happens next? Or an episode called T-Rex Killer, where Nanotyrannosaurus, which really probably was just a juvenile T-Rex, is faced with either the option of trying to go up against a mother T-Rex to get to its baby, or running away like it should. Can you guess what happens next? Now, it's not like you can't learn anything about these animals in the situation what happens when they are in a conflict with each other. For example, the fighting dinosaurs still might be, to this day, one of the most metal as hell discoveries in all of paleontology. But good luck finding something like that in a show like this. And if you want a more recent example of a dinosaur documentary just being all sorts of terrible, then look no further than Dinosaurs with Stephen Fry, an absolute abomination of the highest caliber.
This is the Earth 100 million years ago. A dangerous, magical place, ruled by terrifying creatures, the dinosaurs. Come with me as I travel back in time for an epic tale spanning 180 million years to see how they lived until their ultimate demise. Dinosaur, with me, Stephen Fry, coming soon to Channel 5 and My 5.
Is there really anything new I can say about this show that hasn't been said at this point? I mean, just look at it. Look at it. Just look at it! The whole show looks like it was made inside a trash bin and pushes the most obvious information as if it was the most groundbreaking thing that you've ever heard in your entire life. It is the literal worst. Now, I had a little bit of fun tearing a new one into these shows because they really do deserve it. They are very, very terrible. But why does it ultimately matter that we point out that these shows are bad? Well, I think the answer is really simple in this one. When it comes to, say, a bad movie, like, say, the new Jurassic World movie, if that's bad, well, that's unfortunate, but really not that important in the grand scheme of things. A bad movie is just that. A bad movie. It doesn't really hurt anyone aside from the depression and disappointment we might feel when we watch it. But when it comes to a dinosaur documentary, the playing field changes just a little bit, and by that I mean a lot. Dinosaur documentaries are an entertaining but still accessible way for people to have a vivid glimpse into the lives of these beautiful creatures, which is why it's very important that the information that these shows push out is based on some scientific fact. It's a lone thing to be inaccurate or outdated. In fact, a lot of it, like I said earlier, is a good thing. But if the show actively pushes misinformation, then that means that the audience is at risk of pushing, in turn, some really bogus facts. I am talking about you, Jack Horner. Yes, your T-Rex was a scavenger theory that you pushed for years. I don't care that you retracted it. That theory haunted me for years. I wanted on record that Jurassic Park 3 was partially because of you. Because of you. Look, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to have the Jack Horner rant. It happens to all of us. It happens to all of us. I could not make this video and not have the Jack Horner rant in the middle of it. I'm sorry. I wasn't my intention. I promise to be better. It just had to happen, man. If there was someone that ties shows together like Jurassic Fight Club or Monster Resurrected or Valley of the T-Rex or Dinosaur with Stephen Fry, aside from just being bad shows, is that they all just miss the point of what makes dinosaurs entertaining in the first place. We just like to watch dinosaurs just be themselves. We don't need a movie monster in the making here. We got Godzilla, King Kong, and other kaiju films for that. Just have dinosaurs just live their lives. It seems really simple, but the effect of that has lasted for years in terms of sheer impact on our culture. We love shows like Walking with Dinosaurs or Prehistoric Planet and any other of the great dinosaur shows out there. So basically, all I'm just trying to say is that dinosaurs are awesome, man.